up? It's your girl, Sasha Banks, the legit boss. You are watching Going In Raw. You like that?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you can be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Monday Night Raw. Stricken earlier today, or announced anyways, by Drew McIntyre having tested positive for COVID. Delivered an episode that kind of felt like they had to rewrite a couple things here or there. But to be honest with you, like it didn't really feel like they were down a ton of people. You think that one guy gets COVID, maybe, he's there working in close proximity with other people, that they'd be down people. It still had the show. It still had the feel of a show written on the fly. Yeah, even though, like, I don't really know what else could have happened, really.
But that's kind of par for course for Raw. I mean, like 90% of the time, Raw feels like a show that's written as the show is going.
It's really no different.
So, yeah, it's really no difference. I mean, the only difference maybe is that there was a lot of people that wrestled 2 matches tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was a weird. It was just a weird thing. It was weird in the context that every segment you think. I mean, I'm just speculating here. Makes sense. They map out the show. Okay, this segment right here gets X number of minutes. I'll throw an example out there. Riddle versus the Hurt Business. You guys get, I think they had a total of like 15, maybe 17 minutes or so. Or it was like, I think it was like 7 to 7:15, something like that. So like you map out this time. I don't understand why they would do a 3-minute Lashley Riddle match and follow that with an MVP Riddle match that goes.
That was also very short.
It was very short. And then it has like a wonk finish.
I mean, here's the only.
You have 2 of the better wrestlers on your roster. Sorry, I'll just finish this point. You have 2 guys who can put on a banger match together. Why not have them go 15 minutes?
No, I understand that in terms of filling time, especially if you're down a few people potentially. I'm guessing from a storyline perspective, given how Riddle won their match last week, they want to establish Lashley as dominant. Because he went out there and basically wiped the floor with Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
He destroyed Riddle.
Really sloppy match. It was a really sloppy match too.
I mean, like that's the only rationale I can think. I mean, Riddle was bumping all over the place. He was making Lashley look good.
Yeah.
Lashley was doing his bit.
Yeah.
But that, from a storyline perspective, that's the only reason I could think why they had such a short match and it's such a dominant Lashley victory.
It was just a weird Raw tonight. It didn't feel like I honestly, I'll put it this way. I sort of text this to you. I don't think 2 things. On the good side, I was never bored by Raw tonight. Like there was no Miz TV, which instantly gets a better grade in my book for that. I was never bored by it. I was just confused by a lot of it, and they didn't move any stories ahead, really.
No.
That's my take on it. There was just a lot of weird stuff going on. There was some funny stuff. I like the Lacey Evans, Ric Flair stuff made me laugh.
Keith Lee was great tonight. Keith Lee was the highlight.
Keith Lee's terrific. We'll talk about him a bunch. I'm going to put, of course, the fireball on the thumbnail. So Larson, at the conclusion of the already very short impromptu, for the night, match between Triple H and Randy Orton.
It wasn't a match, though. It wasn't a match. There was no ref out there.
It was a fight. You're right. Triple H disappears, literally. Alexa Bliss shoots Randy Orton in the head with fire. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was a rad ending. I was like, oh, that woke me up. That was pretty cool. I mean, clearly that, Randy Orton talked about being in the Rumble, but I don't think he's officially declared unless him talking about it was him declaring. This is going to be him versus the Fiend of the Rumble, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, for sure. I'll just say this, like the ending was cool and all. I just thought like a lot of, we talked about it before we kicked off on the main show here. Like with these cliffhanger endings, WWE has a very casual approach to getting to them or getting through them. I think if it was a situation where, so Alexa comes out, she kind of stares at Randy for a while. Like what is she going to do? She holds up the pain glove like this and then shoots him with a fireball.
Bang, bang.
That part's pretty bang, bang.
Yeah.
And then Randy sells it. And I thought if he sold it, bang, you put the copyright thing in the bottom and go off air right there as he's kind of writhing around for, I don't know, like 2-3 seconds. Fine. But it felt like he was just writhing around.
Meanwhile, commentary so awkwardly saying, nobody's helping him, by the way. I totally get your point. There's a million things like with WWE execution. Sometimes it's really cool. Sometimes they do a good job. Sometimes, yeah, they don't quite get their timing right. I sort of chalk that up to live TV, although that segment itself was not live because they did some post-production work on the editing of the Fireball. But I thought it was very effective how they obviously edited Triple H disappearing as well. So obviously that was pre-taped.
One thing I noticed, this is just it's a small thing, but during the main event is in the crowd at Thunderdome, there was the same person.
No, I know. Green shirt, glasses. Yeah.
No, there's a different dude. I thought he had glasses, but I thought he had a white shirt on.
Sort of a heavier looking guy.
Maybe he was over by where their entrance ramp was.
I saw a guy twice on two different screens he was on the very edge of like the LEDs on the entrance ramp. And I swear he was doing he was like existing. It was like Luke that time in Quizlemania.
Yeah.
He was like existing in two different times. And then one of the screens reset. So I was like, oh, well, like they're recycling.
I don't know how it happened, but he was like in rows back to back. Like there was one of him behind the other one of him. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like doing this.
Yeah, we're probably thinking of the same guy. I just have it wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I could be wrong with the color of his shirt, but definitely.
That guy. And then I swear I was watching his screen for a second because it was so obvious there was two of them doing different movements. So it wasn't like they were mirroring each other. And then one of them like reset to an earlier pose or something. And I was like, oh, they're but I mean, I don't know. I just sort of I know they do that for NXT. So I don't know.
Oh yeah.
You know, they just recycle
using footage.
Yeah. They recycle Thunderdome people. Nobody's there live. Vermilion here in chat says maybe they were twins. It's always possible. They could be literally just twins. Anyways, we'll just talk about the show as we go on. There were no big takeaways here. I'll send my Steve notes out right now. The
highlight of the show was Keith Lee breaking that turnbuckle.
Yeah, that was totally. Keith Lee was like the lone sort of standout MVP of the show, I guess. But we'll talk about that one again. Even that was kind of weird, even though he was really cool. It started off with Triple H opening Raw. Commentary evidently said that he was there to give the old finger wag to Randy Orton because of the shocking events of Legends Night. So he shows up and says, "Welcome to the Thunderdome, to Monday Night Raw." But before he has like one word come out of his mouth, basically after that, he's immediately interrupted by Orton. Orton says, "Look at this. The office."
Hold on. Do you want to try this again? I could be Randy, you be Triple H.
Yeah, I wrote a bunch of stuff down here. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. So, my redemption story.
There you go. Orton interrupts. He says, "Oh, so the office decided to show up tonight because Drew couldn't. He's supposed to have a big match, right?"
"I am aware that you're supposed to have a big match, and you are too."
He's like, "So you're here. You must have something to say. You must have some sort of ruling. Am I going to be last in the Rumble? Are you going to do what's best for business, Triple H, and hand me the WWE Championship?"
"Hand you the title. I find it funny you think I'm going to do that. How about this, Randy Orton? You win the Rumble, then you could win the title."
"Well, how about this? Since you're here, you must have something to say, to make a call. But if you're going to do it, make sure it benefits Randall Keith Orton."
"No, I find it funny you think I would do something that benefits you. Is that where we're at now? You're going to flex on me, Randy Orton? You've been impressive. I watched the old Orton step back into the dance. He's been gone for a while, but he came back. I watched you light that fire, and it stood between you and what you wanted, the Fiend. Between you and the WWE Championship. I was never more proud of you when you lit him on fire. But since that time, there's a few things I don't understand, like kicking legends in the head or humiliating them like you did Mark Henry. It's solidified in my mind that Randy Orton's a no-good prick."
Triple H, you can call me whatever you want, but I'm at my peak. I'm a legend in my own time, kind of like you are, Mr. Game. And, I kind of wonder, do you still got it in you? Is the Game, the cerebral assassin, still in there? Because if he is, Maybe he takes the legend. Maybe I take the legend, Triple H, out once and for all, but not in a match. No, but in a good old-fashioned fight tonight in this ring. We go toe-to-toe.
And then Triple H gets really close to Orton and he says, when somebody asks you to do something, you don't give it to them. There's no benefit in it for me, Randy Orton.
And then so he says, no.
So
Orton
I start
says,
walking away.
Yeah. And then Randy says, oh, is it because Steph isn't here and she still has your balls in her purse?
And he wheels his chair back and he says, Randy, clock. And then he decks him. And then Orton rolls off. And then, what does he say?
Smiles.
He bares his teeth at him.
That must mean yes.
Oh, man. And end scene.
Yeah.
There you go.
Next, we had a Charlotte interview. She was asked about Lacey Evans flirting with her dad.
This was the most disturbing thing she said. She said, Lacey Evans isn't the first person who's hit on my dad in front of me, and she won't be the last, but it's 2021. Why are you asking me about my dad? He's at home. I'm going to go show Lacey Evans how to act like a lady. I wonder how many other women have hit on Ric Flair in front of Charlotte. That poor lady. Hey, Ric Flair. Wow, you look great.
Charlotte goes down the ring. We go back to the gorilla position. Now we have the Lacey Evans interview.
Oh, God.
She says Charlotte needs to calm down and realize that she didn't flirt with anyone who didn't want to be flirted with.
Woo!
She calls Ric Flair woo, charming, powerful, man's man, and she dedicates this match to the Nature Boy.
Woo! After that, we have a public service announcement from COVID victim Drew McIntyre. Luckily, he does say he's asymptomatic, so that's great. He also stresses the importance of wearing a mask and social distancing. I really wish they would have done this video with him like back in March, because WWE has a really big platform. You know, like they were struggling with the perception, public perception, them and their shady, running a sloppy shop as Taz called it. Run a good shop and put out these videos on. They talk about people backyard wrestling. Don't do this at home. They can't talk about COVID. Should have been doing that the whole time.
They should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah. Anyways, that was only the first of two Drew McIntyre cameos we were going to get during the night. But first, we had Charlotte Flair versus Lacey Evans. So Charlotte sort of takes the lead early, and then the Nature Boy shows up, Larson. Pantsless.
Well, no. Flair comes strutting out ringside. At one point, Charlotte hits natural selection. You think she's got the match won. Rick puts Lacey's foot on the bottom rope, and Charlotte's all, "What the heck, Dad?" And so Lacey tries to hit her with the woman's right. Charlotte ducks it, dumps Lacey to the apron, tries to suplex her back in the ring. Flair grabs Charlotte's foot, trips her up, and holds down her foot while Lacey's pinning her. Yeah. Lacey wins, and then he and Lacey walk up the ramp together. After that, they have an interview backstage where Sarah runs up to him, and Lacey just kind of blows her off as they go walking off together.
The last thing she's going to blow.
Oh, my goodness.
Night by Night here in chat has our FriendoMerch.com chat of the night. He says, ever since Ric Flair started taking Nugenics, he's been feeling younger and stronger than ever. And that's your FriendoMerch.com chat of the night. Oh, man. So anyways, after that, we had a Keith Lee interview where he's asked, after your terrific match last week, where you came up short to get the WWE Championship, how do you bounce back? But before he can really say anything, Sheamus interrupts, and he says, hey, fella, you marched into Claymore country and put up a hell of a fight, earned Drew's respect, so I respect you too. They're interrupted then by Miz and Morrison. They say a bunch of stuff. Morrison is always funny in these bits. I've noticed that. Like, Miz can go, suck an egg or whatever, but Morrison's hilarious.
Wow.
Is that even a phrase, suck an egg?
Yeah, I think so.
So, like in the 1950s, probably.
Yeah.
So they mentioned they're committed to their New Year's resolutions, and we're starting with you two. We're making up for lost time or whatever. And so vis-a-vis tag matches set for later on in the night. Yeah.
Yeah. After that, we had Jeff Hardy versus Elias. again for some reason. I thought we were done with this feud.
They had the perfect blow-off match that time. Elias electrocuted himself, and then Jeff Hardy.
Really no reason to come back to this.
Yeah, did the swanton on those steel steps. That was a really, really fun, or near the steel steps. That was a really fun match. Last week, Elias was in a thing with AJ Styles. Why didn't they just do that? Like, have this be AJ? I thought AJ
had to be in an utterly meaningless match against Drew Gulak.
I thought AJ was like quarantining or something. I was like, oh, so he's one of the guys that's out because they don't have him for this Elias thing. But no, they did have AJ.
No. Yeah.
That was weird.
Anyway, so Hardy versus Elias before the match. Elias he's on the mic. He says, "I got some bad news and some worse news for you, Jeff Hardy. I suffered a debilitating injury recording music this week.
That made me laugh.
So you have to face Jaxson Ryker."
That actually made me laugh.
The Ryker adds he'll do whatever it takes to prove his allegiance to Elias.
I'm glad that Jaxson Ryker is showing his allegiance to Elias, not somebody more damaging, perhaps.
Yeah. So, anyways,
events.
Yeah. So Hardy hits a neck breaker. Elias, he goes up top. Elias distracts him. Before he goes up top. And then Ryker rolls him up for the win. Then Hardy gets on the mic, tells Elias to get in the ring and face him. He says, "You're not hurt. You just want people to see that Ryker is better than you." And then Elias is like, "All right, Ryker, don't get involved. Stay outside. Don't get involved." Hits the ring, go to commercial, come back. Really sharp bout. Hardy hits Whisper in the Wind, gets a 2. Elias catches a spin kick, hits a jumping knee, spinning suplex, gets a 2. In the end, though, Jeff Hardy, twist of fate, swanton, W for Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, and they really understood. Like he was doing the don't interfere with like a wink and a nudge. Do not interfere in this match. Yeah. And Riker's kind of he sort of played like a dullard. And so at the end of the match, Elias is like, "Why didn't you interfere? Why didn't you help me out?" And he's like, "You told me not to." You said not to. So after that, we had Sheamus and Keith Lee versus Miz and Morrison. You had mentioned, I think, this during our actual show. The best part of this was when Keith Lee pounced Morrison.
Oh, that was great.
In the corner.
Seemingly unexpected.
Turnbuckle basically explodes. And the whole
flying off, goes over Morrison's head and around his neck as he's falling forward. It was kind of worrisome for a moment.
Yeah, those things, you never know how those things are gonna go.
But once you find out Morrison's okay, like Keith Lee does this.
Yeah, that was great. And then Sheamus comes over to sort of celebrate the little moment too. I thought that this was the weirdest thing because they had really, really good chemistry in this match, right? So. The bottom line, Miz and Morrison isolate Sheamus. He gets a hot tag to Keith Lee. He goes on this big tear, starts throwing Miz and Morrison around everywhere. And then he goes into the corner to load up for, a finish or whatever. And Sheamus tags himself in and gets a brogue kick. And it was a great moment because Keith Lee just sort of laughs it off. He's like, "Oh, that's funny. What are you going to do?"
That's Sheamus. Yeah.
And then as soon as Sheamus gets the pin, he runs over to Keith Lee and they hug. And it's like, oh, that's a tag team that I wouldn't mind seeing because both these guys Keith Lee's always been very entertaining. Sheamus, I'm a fan of Sheamus again, man. I think Sheamus has been doing really good work lately.
He's been doing some of the best work of his career. So this is what happens.
This is like another Thee-bar. I'm totally on board. So what happens next, Larson? We got this new tag team.
We have a Triple H interview. So he's like, "Yeah, I came here tonight in business capacity as a fish WWE, blah, 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 blah. Didn't come to fight, but I'm going to fight anyways on behalf of every legend who has stepped in the ring before us." So he's fighting for all the legends, pretty much. We go to commercial. We come back, and Keith Lee and Sheamus are fighting.
What the? And do they ever go to, a replay of what happened during the commercial to what? They don't, right? I didn't miss that.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
I mean, at this point, it was pre-ribs, so I was paying attention to the show. Ribs were still in the Instant Pot.
Yeah. How long did you cook those ribs?
They go 30.
Oh, only 30 minutes?
Yeah.
That's really quick. Wow. Yeah. Okay. And they're
it's not exactly
tender and all?
Oh, man, they're melty. They're good. They're really good. Yeah.
Because usually that's like a 4-hour process cooking ribs.
I know. Friggin' Instant Pot.
What'd you put in there with it? Just some spices?
I slathered a bunch of... I have some pulled pork chicken spice that I put on the ribs, and then I sort of pasted in there with the barbecue sauce. I don't know what the barbecue sauce is, but I pasted in there with the barbecue sauce. and then a bunch of onions on that.
Oh, okay. So like kind of almost like braised almost, but you didn't put any liquid on top, right? Other than barbecue sauce.
No, you dump a little bit of water in there for the steam.
Yeah, so it doesn't burn. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And it tells you that too, because I accidentally forgot the water the first time around. I was like, oh crap, forgot to put the water in.
Yeah. Might dry out too.
Yeah, but no, they're terrific.
Interesting. Anyways, we might be getting an air fryer. Completely off topic, but we might be getting an air fryer soon. Anyways, so Keith Lee and Sheamus were fighting for some reason.
Good. I've heard good things.
This was a fun match, though.
Oh, I said pulled pork chicken. I think it's pulled chicken. The spices,
right.
like some sort of
like a rub.
Spices.
Yeah, a rub.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, rubs are the way to go when you're seasoning with your barbecue.
Yeah.
So this is a fun match. 1 point, Keith Lee gets Sheamus up top, or Sheamus goes up top. At this point, Shayna has been working Keith Lee's arms, so he's more or less wrestling with his arms down by his side.
Mm-hmm.
And so to kind of break up whatever Sheamus is doing on the top, Keith Lee does like a shoulder tackle to him, kind of. But he kind of just runs to Sheamus with his arms at the side, just kind of jumps up into him.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty great.
Yeah.
So he goes up. Looks like he's setting up for a Spanish fly. So Sheamus fights him off, hits a clothesline off the top. Pump knee, gets a 2. Starts working Lee's arm again. Lee powers him up, hits a power bomb, and then hits a spirit bomb to get the win. So afterwards, Lee extends a fist bump. Sheamus slaps it aside and gives him a hug.
I'll be honest, man. Like I mentioned this on Twitter. As much as I want to see Keith Lee either challenge Lashley or be challenging for the WWE Championship, I would not hate a tag team title run with these two guys. I think they could be wild. Every tag team that gets thrown together like this, I always want to see another APA. I'd be totally cool with this, as long as it served as a vehicle, even if it was like a long-term vehicle to get Keith Lee back up to the main event singles scene.
Definitely.
That's where I want it to end up. But in the meantime, dude, I just want to be entertained. These two guys were entertaining as hell together. So I'm hoping that hug means we got it out. It's all out. Let's hit the road together. All right, before we continue, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, Raycon. Hey, Larson.
Yeah.
It's a new year, man, and every new year, I'm always hearing you talking about how you're going to be better about doing this, that, or the other with all your New Year's resolutions.
No, Steve, I mean it this year. This is the year I really will get super jacked.
Oh, my gosh.
But you know what's going to make that easier?
What?
When I got some amazing audio rocking in my ear holes to make those workouts that much better. And that is exactly what I get with my wireless earbuds from Raycon.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say protein powder or something, man, but you're right. Raycon makes great sound accessible to everyone because their wireless earbuds start at half the price of other premium audio brands. And guess what? With Raycon wireless earbuds, you don't have to worry about ridiculous stems dangling from your ears like this.
True, right? Raycons come in a variety of stylish colors and always have a comfortable in-ear fit for a more discreet look. No stems, but hey, they just don't look great. They perform great as well with up to 6 hours of playtime, water and sweat-resistant construction, and Bluetooth that pairs quickly and seamlessly.
Right now, Raycon's offering 15% off all their products for Going In Raw listeners, and here's what you've got to do to get it. Go to buyraycon.com/raw. That's it. You'll get 15% off your entire Raycon order. So feel free to grab a pair and a spare.
That's 15% off at buyraycon.com/raw. Buyraycon.com/raw.
About to go do my wind sprints if I can find mine.
I got a spare and a pair.
Hey, wait a second.
After that, Drew McIntyre, he responds to Goldberg. Says after being pushed limit by Keith Lee, he watched, all the legends up on the stage watching the match. He said, before I got a chance to thank them, he was interrupted by Goldberg. And he goes, yeah, at first, hey, Bill, you're one of my favorites growing up. I might have been a bit starstruck, but as the saying goes, never meet your heroes because they'll let you down. And Goldberg let his legacy down. He put words in my mouth that I never said.
True.
Drew says, I'm a firm believer in giving respect to get respect like a true WWE champion should. But Bill wouldn't know anything about WWE championship because he's never won it.
Ooh.
And he says he doesn't want to accept Bill's challenge. But his opinion changed once Bill put his hands on him. Now it's Goldberg who needs a lesson in respect. He accepts Bill's challenge. Goldberg is next.
Yes. And then he said, and here's my Matt Chat question. After that, we had Riddle backstage. He was excited about fighting Lashley. He compared it to a great pizza, and he was talking to Lucha House Party. And Lindsay was like, wait a second, so you're hungry? And Riddle's like, no, it's a metaphor. And Lindsay said, well, we hope you win. We hate the Hurt Business. Watch your back because they cheat. Riddle took that literally after moments earlier making a metaphor. Said, I can't watch my back, but thanks, bro chachos. And then after that, we had T-Bar versus Xavier Woods in singles action. This goes much like most recent Retribution matches. There was one cool moment where Xavier Woods does like a shotgun drop kick where T-Bar gets sent out of the ring. But otherwise, Retribution distracted Xavier Woods, which allowed T-Bar to go after Woods' arm through the ropes. And then he delivered Eyes Wide Shut.
No, feast your eyes, man.
Well, they called it Eyes Wide Shut on this particular program. So he hit Eyes Wide Shut. And T-Bar won. Yeah, it's got to do something with eyes, I guess.
I guess so. Feast your eyes. After that, we had an Orton interview. He asked, how do you feel about Triple H accepting your challenge? He's like, yeah, Triple H and I go way back. He knows me better than anyone else, but times have changed. Those days of old are gone. And what he doesn't realize is that Orton has a hatred for himself that he can embrace or something like that.
Yeah, it's weird. After that, we had Riddle versus Lashley for the U.S. title. I was looking forward to this match. I'm like, man, Riddle and another guy who is big,
destroyed him,
could do fun stuff, just annihilated him. Like he threw him over the rope at one point. It was sloppy. Destroyed him too because it was like really sloppy stuff. Riddle ended up.
I still enjoyed it quite a bit. Well,
it's 3 minutes of somebody getting destroyed and on the verge of actually getting hurt. So, it's enjoyable.
Riddle got a little bit of offense in, but it was absolute annihilation at the hands of Bob Lashley. He sinks in the hurt lock. Riddle taps. This time the ref sees it.
He didn't tap as quickly as Jeff Hardy taps out to the hurt lock. At least Riddle puts up a little bit of a fight.
And at least he didn't elbow into it like Dijak did that one time.
That was the best.
Whoever thought of that finish? Anyway, so after the match, Riddle's all upset, and he goes, MVP. So I couldn't beat Lashley tonight, but I sure can't beat you.
He's like, you're wearing a suit. I'm going to challenge you. You're kind of older. I can beat you. I've only been in the ring like 3 minutes now.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. I didn't understand the Keith Lee Sheamus going right into a match. It was like they played out 3 weeks of TV in one shot.
In a commercial break.
Yeah, exactly. And then Riddle challenges MVP for reasons unknown. Riddle, of course, gets the upper hand because MVP isn't his, Sunday finest. Lashley ends up getting, interfering blatantly. DQ win for Riddle, but then they attack him, gives him a flatline.
They beat the heck out of him, yeah. Mm-hmm. After that, AJ Styles was talking to Adam Pearce backstage about about Pearce's match against Roman Reigns at the Rumble. It says, hey, I'm in the Rumble. When I win, you and I could face at Mania for the Universal Championship. So Drew Gulak steps in. He says, I'm going to be in the Rumble. He says, but I want to be in at number 30. And Adam Pearce is like, no. You just can't say you're in and I'll let you in. And Drew says, why? AJ did. And then AJ's like, well, who did you beat? And Drew Gulak produces a flash drive. He's about to get it to Adam Pearce. And Pearce goes, no, here, what's what we'll do? You could be in the Rumble if you beat AJ Styles. And that was next. The highlight of this match for Drew Gulak is he debuted his new pants.
Yeah, but then I noticed that he wasn't wearing like boots, proper boots.
He's wearing wrestling shoes.
Yeah, so you could see like the back of his legs. The creamsicle color was wonderful, and I like the Gulak, but yeah, I don't like to see their legs. All
right. Anyways, AJ won. This is pretty quick. It was fun, but it's pretty quick.
Yeah, it was fine. Drew Gulak always puts on good matches. AJ Styles is great.
Yeah.
Got a really cool shot of Amos.
That was cool.
But yeah, phenomenal.
Booming over Drew. Yeah.
Phenomenal forearm.
Raw's got a real drama problem. There's like get through 3 hours of wrestling television and it's basically devoid of drama.
Yeah, I don't even know why that is, man. I don't know why that is.
I mean, SmackDown, they benefit from having Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns is almost like Shakespearean level of drama he brings to any show.
Yeah. Yeah. But then everything else is good too.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what the deal with that is. It's like they're just I don't know, man. They're just
It's just Raw every week is spinning wheels. It feels like
there's never like any real stakes involved. No. Like you know what one thing of Raw I've really enjoyed recently. I'm sorry, when I say recently, I mean just in the recent past, was their Build to Survivor series with Team Raw. Mm-hmm. I like that because this is like, character conflicts, and there was something coming up. There were stakes involved with them resolving their differences, and then you see it play out in the match, and they, damn near sweep Team Raw. They did sweep Team SmackDown rather. When you have stories that escalate week to week that are leading to something, even recently, the Lana stuff, it was kind of all over the map and it was start and stop. But once they got on a roll and sort of understood where they wanted to take it, which, was obviously had to be cut short because of her injury, it was like, okay, they're moving these things along. I mean, they did way too many of the table spots. But eventually it was like after Survivor Series, like, oh, they kind of know where they're going now. But it's so rare that Raw has that. And that's the problem. They rarely really have a destination in sight. Even the stuff with Randy Orton and The Fiend, it's so like meandering. There doesn't seem to be an actual destination involved. Like we can figure it out, but storyline wise, there's nothing on the horizon,
Mm-hmm. And then like week to week, it doesn't build to that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was what you want. You have a smattering of moments, but not a whole lot of build to it, or at least effective build. Next, we had, in case you didn't know who Goldberg was, here's your introduction. It's a video package about Bill. After that, this is a good bit. So Triple H is backstage, get ready for his match. Keith Lee walks up to him and he's like, "Hey, I get it. Orton's pushing your buttons, but hey, ever since I got here, you've been there for me, Triple H. I've already wrestled twice tonight. I'll wrestle again. Let me take on Orton." And Triple H goes, "Nah, I appreciate it, but I have to do this. I made this mess. I have to clean it up."
Yeah,
and then I think this like Keith Lee just slapped him on the shoulder. He's like, "All right."
Oh, he handed him the leather jacket.
That's right.
Gave him the fist bump on the chest. Or no, they gave him like a real fist bump.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a great little moment. That's why I don't know, man. Maybe that's why, because Triple H loves Keith Lee.
Oh yeah.
So he shows up. He's gonna put Keith Lee in, a bunch of the segments. Yeah, how about this? We'll do 2 matches with Keith Lee.
How about this? 2 hours of Keith Lee.
Might be a bit much. No, it's not enough, actually. I was going to come in here and say 3 hours of Keith Lee, but I thought that would be ridiculous. After that, it was weird because it was like 15 minutes to the hour, and we had a Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax match against Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. Yeah. And I was like, boy, this fight is going to be a whole lot of nothing.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually honestly surprised they did as much as they did.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we had a promo to kick this off from Mandy and Dana where they declare for the Rumble. They make some sort of Kardashian. So did Kim Kardashian ditch Kanye West? Is that a story now?
I don't know if the divorce papers were actually filed, but there was rumors that was going to happen.
Oh wow. Okay. And then so they have a match. I like it because Mandy now has figured out the elbow stomp. She does a little roll through thing to get out of it. Nia Jax starts to go to the top to finish things off, though, because Shayna Baszler and her sort of get the upper hand. But Baszler tags herself in when she sees Mandy just sitting there, and Nia Jax is taking too long. Chokes her out, taps her out. Nia Jax doesn't look thrilled, but she gets over it pretty quick. Something tells me they're going to have a match. Probably they're going to have a spot at the Rumble where one of them eliminates the other. And then they'll have a match at.
Then the feud will happen after that. Yes.
Yeah. What's the pay-per-view after the Rumble?
Elimination Chamber still.
Elimination Chamber. Yeah, you're right.
Maybe.
Yeah, because that was the last.
Then we had our main event: Triple H versus Randall Keith Orton. Orton does the thing where he gets in the ring, or act like he's gonna get in the ring. Takes his time, gets in. Triple H decks him. He rolls back out, gets back in. Then the match really ensues. They fight in the ring a bit, go down the floor. Triple H tosses Orton in the ring steps, and Orton gets busted open kind of by his temple. Orton thumps Triple H in the eye, looks for a belly to back on the announce table. Triple H blocks that. He hits his own belly to back on the announce table. He puts Orton back in the ring. He gets a sledgehammer from under the ring. Starts the process getting back in the ring. Goes up the ring steps. Lights start to come down. It's feed time. So Triple H gets in the ring. It's kind of a tight, like a medium close-up shot of Triple H. They cut back and forth between him and Randy. He's sizing him up, ready to hit him with the hammer, but you don't see the hammer in frame.
Mm-hmm.
He brings up the hammer, and the head of it is on fire now.
Yeah.
And he's all,
what the heck?
back.
What's going on
He
here? I
didn't do
didn't light this on fire.
so the lights go down all the way. They come back up, but they're kind of purple now,
Yeah.
which is Alexa's playground.
Uh-huh.
Triple H is gone.
Yeah.
There's this weird kind of slowed down, detuned Firefly Funhouse theme playing, like a broken tape deck. And then Alexa's standing in one of the corners, and she's just staring at Orton. And Orton's kind of like normal, confused Randy Orton face, and she holds up her pain glove. Was it the left one? Like this?
Something like that.
And then shoots a fireball at Orton's face.
Bang, bang, bang.
All.
And yeah, they did a really cool job of editing the actual, the moment, because they did like a little bit, they did some tricky editing there. They, I think technically they took some frames out. And,
to make the fireball shoot out faster.
Yeah, and even like his like reaction to it, and then he collapses, and they do like a weird cut. I thought it was a pretty cool moment, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was fun.
Anyways, let's go ahead and take some questions now. We're in the Friendo Mailbag section.
Yes.
Actually
Red
put a
Winter 14
question
with
thread
some
on the
bits. Thank
Patreon
you very
for
much.
once.
Thank you, Red Winter 14.
Thank you, Red Winter. Church Jaxson, I'm going to laugh at this comment here on Patreon, but I'm not going to read it. Let's see here. Wayne Scoggins, you think WWE books like the internet isn't watching? I'm sure most casual fans don't really hit the dirt sheets. Are they booking solely for them? I think that I don't know, if you've ever listened to a Bruce Pritchard podcast, he almost like resents the dirt sheet, the internet wrestling community in general. People who like their most hardcore devotees. There has always seemed to be a bit of a resentment towards those.
No,
people.
there definitely is. There definitely is because they're still part of Pritchard. I'm guessing who wants to protect the business.
Yeah,
and the most hardcore fans are so fascinated by the process.
Yeah,
every other creative means of storytelling.
Yeah.
You can take a look at the process. There's not this closed door between those who enjoy the product and those who produce it to this extent. Can you imagine you go to or you listening to a director's commentary in a movie you really like, and the director spending 2 hours talking crap about you liking and being curious about how that movie is made?
Yeah.
Because that's virtually what's going on. And it boggles my mind.
Let's see here. Okay, so I'll preface this by saying what we usually say, in that we don't often source ringside news, but they did have a story over the weekend, I believe, and I'm getting this from, I had noticed it a couple days ago. So this is, I'm reading this off PW Mania. They're reporting of the ringside news report that there was a negative backstage WWE reaction to Bruce Pritchard being on Sam Roberts' podcast, the Not Sam
I saw that too.
show.
Yeah.
And he comes off as, not exactly fan friendly. Let's see here. It says several of the people who didn't approve of the interview were said to be producers and writers. Many in the company have viewed Bruce Pritchard's appearance on Not Sam as, quote, an embarrassment, especially with producers and writers who have seen it. One producer reportedly noted that the impression Pritchard gave off in the interview was that of someone who knows better than the fans. The producer reportedly said he's an arrogant, entitled, all-knowing, and thinks he's smarter than the audience, and that he can dictate to the audience instead of listening to the audience and presenting a product that the audience will want and support. Oftentimes, WWE's product comes off like that. At least Raw does. SmackDown we enjoy, although there is always the caveat that, with the exception of Roman Reigns' stuff, there is just this sort of perception in my mind anyways, that there are so many missed opportunities. I'll go back to this endlessly. The fact that they had four, very popular, I'm not going to say original, but three of them are original, I think, members of Bullet Club. They never got these four guys all together, and made a bunch of money off them. They never did that. They had the OC, Every once in a while, Gallows and Anderson would hang out with Finn. They never put them all together. People love that stuff. But there is, and I don't know, just listening to the Conrad Bruce Pritchard podcast stuff they're very entertaining to listen to. But if you actually pay attention to Bruce Pritchard, the guy, there is a resentment that he has towards the most hardcore fans of the product. And I don't know what his deal is. I don't know if it's a matter of the perception from, or the attitude from like going way back when people really wanted to understand the business and he was devoted to protecting the business, and that resentment built from there. It's clear as day that it's still there though.
Yeah. I mean, speculation, but that would be my guess. He's been in the wrestling business for a very long time. I'm sure that's still there. Mm-hmm. The idea that you got to protect the business. Just times have changed.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this is choreographed. These are choreographed matches, scripted entertainment. And just because people are really into it, want to know about the process of how this creative art form is put together. Like, why would you resent somebody for that?
And I'll be the first person to say that, it's kind of a toxic relationship. Oftentimes wrestling fans, that they will want to know more and they won't exactly express themselves, in a way that would be productive. But also when you have, I saw at least the one confrontation I saw at that Comic-Con when a fan in a very innocent way asked Seth Rollins a question about the writing process or something. And Seth Rollins was very condescending to the guy. Were you there? Are you backstage? So how do you know this stuff? That is such an ugly tack to take with fans. And maybe they just have a ton of toxicity coming their way from fans being, aggressive about wanting to know more and wanting to know process. And maybe they're just jaded to the whole process, but it's not a great relationship right now. And yeah, it just, with WWE, it's just, there's a lot of missed opportunities and they just seem to be on the wrong foot for a company that purports to be, we call you the WWE universe. We listen to you. No, do you though?
No.
Do you?
They haven't for a very long time. Jonathan, Randy should be in the Rumble, and at some point the countdown happens and the lights go out at 0 and come back on. Bray is in the ring and Randy is on the outside and is deemed eliminated. That's actually pretty funny.
That could be. I mean, they could just use the Rumble to tell their story a bit more. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, they could build this thing to Mania.
Mm-hmm. I guess part of it might depend on when Edge is cleared to come back, If they still want to do Edge and Randy at Mania or not.
It totally could be, yeah.
Who knows?
Blake Whitehouse says, name some people you would like to see in a thrown together tag team to help bolster the tag division. He said he'd love to see Drew Gulak and Brian Kendrick. Excuse me.
I know they're not exactly a thrown together tag team, but they would be in WWE as Drew Gulak and Matt Riddle.
Yeah, that's good.
I believe they did tag on the Indies.
Yeah, that's good. I don't have a better answer than that. Adam Cole and Kevin Owens.
Lucifer says, so when are we getting the Going in Raw kitchen show? We can start a cooking show.
I was
gonna my chili recipe.
If you want to come over here, I was gonna make that McDonald's item in China, the one with the Spam and crumbled up Oreos. I got the ingredients for it. I got the Spam and the crumbled up Oreos. You want to try that?
I'm not an Oreo fan, so.
Yeah, but have you ever tried it with Spam?
I just don't like. I don't care what you put Oreos on. You put on bacon, I probably wouldn't like it either.
How do you know the Spam one? Look, I don't know. I'm not. Look, I don't think that I'm doing this because I'm a fan of Oreos. I do love Oreos, but I don't think Oreos on a bun with Spam as a delight. I'm not looking forward to this. I am just curious. So maybe it unlocks something in both the primary ingredients. I don't know.
I've had plenty of Spam in my day, and I know what Oreos taste like. It doesn't seem like a complementary relationship.
Yeah, but dude, you don't know unless you need to broaden your horizons a little bit, man. That's what you got to do.
Oh, I do. I broaden my horizons plenty when it comes to food. I'm just not into Oreos, man. There's a couple things that are kind of like a hard no for me. Oreos is kind of one of them.
So I guess that's just a hard no, man. You're going to disappoint all the people. That's okay. Anyways,
JT Savage, do you foresee a Sheamus heel turn happening? Will it be a post-Mania Drew-Sheamus feud? That's entirely possible. But that'd be kind of cool if they just feuded without necessarily there being a heel turn, you know?
I know you and I have both been saying that for a little while. It's just, let them feud over them being them. But yeah, I don't know. I think, look, I honestly think that's another thing about listening to Bruce Pritchard is they just do stuff in the moment as opposed to planning them out. I just think right now they're seeing if Sheamus and Keith Lee works because they don't have anything better for the guys because Goldberg is around.
Nope. Yep.
And that's it.
Julio Contreras has a good question here. What do you think would happen to the tribal chief if he was sent to Raw? Would they mess this whole thing up?
Yeah, they would. That's been the thing. There was the draft, and we're like, man, what's going to happen? You send these people from SmackDown. Who got sent from SmackDown to Raw? AJ got sent from SmackDown to Raw. Jeff Hardy has. Jeff Hardy has not been anything special. AJ hasn't really been in anything special since he went to Raw. But, people who go to SmackDown, it's a better show. Creatively speaking, it's just better.
Yeah, it is. Exiled Psychic with a bit says Goldberg has never been good in their opinion.
He's never been a good wrestler.
He's never been good.
He's never been a good wrestler. He had back in the 90s, he had, they actually were, I think that they were successful in doing because he does have something. He's got the camera charisma where he shows up and it's like they were able to build him as a professional wrestler, a larger than life comic book destroyer, successfully back then. I mean, you have 18,000, how many people were in the Georgia Dome? It
was like 70,000.
God, yeah, it was like 60,000 people, wasn't it? And they were all marking out big time for him beating Hulk Hogan. That was a thing. They were successful back then. I don't want to see him wrestle now, though.
No, not at all.
James Fletcher, bring in another British wrestler to replace Drew till he's recovered from COVID. Who would the British wrestler be?
Trent Seven.
I was going to say Zach Gibson. Just hand him over the title. Soon to be recognized. Yeah. Goldberg. God, I'd love to hear a Zach Gibson promo on Goldberg.
Oh, wow.
That'd be hilarious.
That would be pretty funny. Jorge D needs our help. Says, guys, can you sell this debate? Are boneless chicken wings just chicken nuggets in disguise? Excuse me. Yes.
No, because chicken nuggets are... The meat is a different consistency.
Well, they can be. Usually they make chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets have a fried outside, a fried exterior.
So do wings. Wings are fried.
Not always.
Boneless chicken wings. Boneless. They generally are. They might not be breaded, but they're fried.
Yeah, they're not breaded. Whatever. Well, no, they're not necessarily fried. No, they're like grilled usually, aren't they?
No, most chicken wings are fried.
Not deep fried.
At least in the cooking shows I watch, whenever I watch Triple D, usually they're fried. Sometimes they're cooked other ways, but usually they're fried.
Yeah, the exterior, the exoskeleton is.
But here's the thing, though: is boneless chicken wings usually do have batter on them, because usually their wing meat has taken off the bone and reconstituted, and unless you put something on there that binds it together, it's all just going to fall apart when you fry it.
Yeah. It's not the same thing.
The major difference is usually chicken nuggets or chicken strips or white meat chicken, and boneless chicken wings are dark meat. That's the only difference.
All right, well there you go. There's a difference.
Although sometimes you go to McNugget at McDonald's, you get the one dark meat one. You're like, what's this?
What the hell is this? What is this nastiness? Let's see here. Rich has been watching some old school Friendo Unified Championship Wrestling with beef jerky. If beef jerky could win any title, excluding the 24/7, which title would it be, and who does he defeat? Boy, so I remember it was beef jerky back then. Gigi Allen was the GM. What were some of the other names? Luchando was one of the guys, wasn't he?
Yeah. It was you and me. We were both in it.
We were both in it, yeah.
I had an I Quit match against Gigi Allen.
That sounds right.
That was really good.
Yeah, that was a classic.
Really good match.
That was a classic.
That was really good.
Beef jerky was definitely a centerpiece, though.
Yeah. I'm just trying to do something. Says after watching Cobra Kai season 3, I'm convinced Triple H is Johnny Lawrence, Vince's Kreese, but who is the Daniel LaRusso of WWE?
So from what I understand, I've only seen like a couple episodes of Cobra Kai. Everybody says it's great.
Yeah, I heard good things about it too.
I mean, maybe if Mando is not your thing, maybe Cobra Kai will be more up your alley.
I didn't dislike Mandalorian. I just thought it was all right.
Right. Maybe you'll be over the moon about Cobra Kai is my point.
You know, I'll be honest. I'm not over the moon about a whole lot these days.
Yeah, I've noticed that. That's these days. I don't think I've seen you genuinely excited about anything since you cut together your latest best of HBK tape back in 1999.
Oh, that'd be 1998.
Something like that.
Oh, I checked on your Christmas gift, the one that just showed up a little bit ago.
Garage already? Yeah.
Yeah. It's fine. It's not as good a shape as I hoped it would be.
What is it?
I'll still give it to you.
Okay. Yeah, I want it.
Yeah.
Not in good shape. Is it guaranteed peed on? What's going on with it?
It's not in bad shape.
Okay. Is it like a cool comic book that's just not in like pristine CGC?
I'm not gonna
rated?
tell you what it is. I'm not gonna tell you what it is.
Well, that's cool. I don't care if a comic book is battered. I'm fine with that. I'm not a stickler for that.
Okay.
It's the thought that counts.
Night by night, what could Randy Orton say to get you to turn around and confront him? I mean, he could say, my balls are my wife's purse. I don't care if he says that.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'd probably turn around and say something, or I'd probably like look back real quick and be like, yeah, you know, lick him. I'd say something really terrible as a comeback. But would if he'd say anything that would like make me be like, okay, this is gonna suck eating an RKO. But I as a man, I have to turn around and confront this guy now.
In the end, there's no benefit in it to you to have a fight with Randall Keith Orton. No benefit.
Well, yeah, I gotta prove my manliness or whatever. Turn around.
No, you don't.
See, that's why that's the difference between this, just a baby boy, and all beef. Oh my God. Because I'll take that RKO if he talks shit about. If he's like
about what? About what?
What if he did this? He was like, "Hey, Steve, I had Retribution hack into your kid's school records, and she's an idiot." I turn around. I'd have to throw down with him then. I'm like, that's my kid you're talking about there, man.
Well, like, so you go in there, you take an RKO.
Yeah, dude.
Nothing's changed.
Well, yeah, because then hey, Dad took an RKO for you, so remember this moment.
Yeah, but in the school's computer, your kid still gets poor grades. Nothing has changed.
Yeah, that's true.
Things remain the same whether you take that RKO or not. So what's the point in taking the RKO?
I know you don't have a concept of pride, but it's pride.
I do, but here's the thing: it's a situation where he said that, and it was like, okay, well, if I fight you, then this will happen. So my kid's not suffering because of it. That's different. But just going in there and be like, oh, those are fighting words, and you fight and you get your ass kicked.
That's okay.
And nothing's different.
Yeah, no.
What was the point?
It's the pride is the point. Yeah, I couldn't live with myself. I walked away. Some dude said, "Hey, your kid is an idiot." I couldn't live with myself as I walked away.
If someone said that to like, hey, I had someone Retribution hack into the school and change all your kids' grade, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go report that. This is someone just said live on national television. This happened.
Yeah,
I'm going to do something to change what happened. That
you're missing the point here,
negatively
though.
Affect. No. I don't care if Randy Orton says, "Oh, I did this." I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go change it so my kid's not suffering because of it. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
I'm not going to take an ass kicking for no reason.
No, there is a reason. That's pride, because he's talking crap. No, I think I'm totally in the right here. And then here's the thing. What if you go to the school administrators and you're like, hey, this guy hacked into my kid, and they're like, there's no evidence that anybody hacked in your stuff and your kids.
I was like, well, this guy just said on national television that it happened.
They're like, yeah, but it didn't. And it's like, well, then you're just confused. No, you got to throw down first. I couldn't sleep with myself if somebody did that. It's kind of different, though, if it's Randy Orton versus like some crazy homeless guy on the street who might shiv you.
Yeah.
That's different. Yeah. Then you just walk away. It doesn't matter what they say. You just walk away. There's no pride in getting beat up by like a dirty bum.
Is there pride getting beat up, taking a kayfabe wrestling move?
Because he's like a 18,000 time champion. Oh, yeah. I'd take the RKO.
Nah.
Absolutely.
No, I actually go about actually solving the actual problem, which is someone tried to mess with my kid's life.
The
Try to deal
problem
with that rather than
the problem is Alabama needs to start studying more. That's the problem. Her grades are fine, by the way. She did an assessment today. She rocked it. It was great.
Good.
So Randy, I'd say, Randy, I'd be like, what? Her grades are fine. Do you know something I don't know? Then he'd be stumped. Then I win.
Yeah, just do that. You don't have to take an RKO. What's the point in there?
Pride, man. Plus, it'd be kind of cool to say, hey, I took an RKO.
Would it really? Adrian C. Is this Charlotte Lacey feud proof that WWE has no idea what to do with the women's tag team division? Seems like they just threw the belts on Charlotte and Asuka when they had no plans for anything after that. Plus, they totally forgot that Shayna and Nia should have shown up on SmackDown to freshen up storylines, but they never did.
Well, you know, we just that's just what we do. They got the guy's hot right now, so that's what we do. It's my Bruce Pritchard impression.
All right, very well.
Look at this. This is true. This is totally true. Dang MQ says Steven Larson would only walk away if Orton insulted Hilton. I would join in at that point. I'd be like, yeah, you got that right, RKO.
Yeah, we that form a bond between the two of us.
We'd be the new legacy at that point.
Yeah, the new rated RKO. Where was I? Oh, Theo, third anarchist. Who's the better punter, Pat McAfee or Randall Keith Orton? Well, in kayfabe, it's Randall Keith Orton.
Well, punter of heads, clearly it's RKO. But
I believe Pat McAfee is a Pro Bowl punter. So
yeah, if they had like a football contest, clearly McAfee would win.
Pat McAfee would totally win that.
Let's see here.
Well, this is a good question from Shane's birthday tweet. If Triple H had one match with an NXT wrestler or a recent NXT call-up, who would it be? It's Adam Cole. Triple H versus Adam Cole?
It'd be Adam Cole. You're absolutely right about that. It'd be Adam Cole. Or Kona Reeves. Let's see here.
You got one?
No, go ahead.
Hugh Longheavy, what if they vacated the WWE title and put up for grabs in the Rumble match? Who from Maine or NXT could win, and what if Roman won it?
So that'd be cool, if Roman won it. I wouldn't necessarily think it'd be all that cool otherwise, just because they're fighting for one brand's title. So it's not like, I mean, I want somebody to be able, I want the idea that somebody could come out of this and challenge Roman, you know, or Drew, either one.
Die Hard Homer says, why does Vince keep trying the same things again and again? Statistically, shouldn't he have had stumbled upon some type of answers by now?
It's new to him. That's the thing. He's like 70,000 years old. He probably forgot most storylines from a year ago and back further.
Yeah.
Like these are all new revelatory ideas for him.
Yeah.
I just came up with something brand new. We have an authority figure. But he's mean. Oh man, that's not new.
Ryan Rubik's Cube. If we have to see a Goldberg match at WrestleMania this year, which unlikely opponent would you rather he face? Triple H, Randy, or The Fiend, knowing his control of his character could be an issue? Triple H and Goldberg have had a match before. I don't think Randy's had a match with Goldberg, right?
Not to my knowledge, unless they had one in 2003.
So unless Fiend's going to get his win back over Goldberg, then I guess of those options, I would say Randy.
It'd be Orton. Nobody wants to see Triple H Goldberg.
No.
Eddie Brock's Venom says, so if MVP has creative control over Hurt Business, at some point, is it too much... Now, is it at some point too much what they're doing with them winning all the time, seeing Benjamin, MVP, Bobby, all around 40 to 45, always winning over the younger talent like Ricochet? In the case of the Hurt Business, no. I think that they're a really well booked group. I thought that maybe they should have handled, I don't know, Ricochet and Apollo. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you start getting into the 50-50 booking thing and nobody really goes over. So I guess you need, somebody's got to be sacrificed, because Ricochet and Apollo really didn't come out of any of that looking good. But you get then, in return, you got a really great faction. You got a new star in Cedric Alexander with the new lease on life.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Sola says regarding Pritchard and the writing, if the feeling is they know better than fans and can dictate what fans should like, then is the final product written in the same vein, drip fed in a manner that makes no sense to us, the viewer, but sense to those who are writing it? Is this also then amongst the worst eras of TV writing?
That was a loaded question. I don't think I still, if you go back and watch Raw of like 1994, 1995, it's really bad. It's like really bad. There are some episodes that I've seen from that time that are just, it's literally, Raw I think was like an hour back then. And it's just straight squash match with jobbers. That's all it is. It's like jobber match after jobber match. It's like Dark. Jobber match after jobber match after jobber match, and that's all they are. So no, I don't think this is the worst era for writing. I think, like in a big picture sense, 4 out of the 7 hours of TV are actually pretty good. NXT is pretty good on a regular basis. SmackDown's pretty darn good on a regular basis. There are times over the past 5 years that Raw has been pretty darn good. So no, I don't think this is one of the worst eras of TV.
No, I don't think it is, but it doesn't necessarily make it great either.
No, it's not. It's not, but it could be a lot worse. I don't want to see it get a lot worse.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they still had the same approach to characters, and by that I mean everybody had a terrible gimmick, and then the writing was this bad on top of it,
we'd probably be looking at the worst era,
Yeah. We start a movies podcast or something.
Because here's the thing, regardless, like the talent is better than it's ever been. Certainly it's better than it was in 94, 95, and the talent will often drag Raw to a decent show. Moses supposes swap one person from the Raw roster, one person from the AEW roster to improve both persons' careers.
Sorry, say again.
Swap one person from Raw, take somebody from Raw, somebody from AEW, swap them, and to improve their careers. Drew Gulak goes to AEW.
Okay.
Miro goes to WWE. If Miro was on SmackDown, he'd probably be doing pretty good right now.
Drew to AEW is pretty good. What about Santana and Ortiz going to WWE?
That's good. I like that.
Gareth Nicholas gifting a sub to White Brownie. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. White Brownie also notes that WWE on Fox on Twitter has a good picture of the fireball for the thumbnail use. I saw that, and I thank you very much for sending that my way. Do we have any other questions, Larson?
Scrolling down here.
Well, we can answer them after in our post show. So thanks everybody for tuning in, because we're over an hour now. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.